Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but I've just been loving these conversations from a C-suite. For our next one, please join me in welcoming Sarah Lane, CMO of CarMax. Moderating this conversation is Jana Zara with Sports Business Journal once again. Take it away, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We're fortunate enough 2 days in a row to have folks from CarMax with us up here on stage. You guys obviously have a very big presence in the sports industry. I'd love if you can, obviously you've been around since 1993. CarMax has been a stable presence for a long, long time, but your journey into sports, little later on in the game. Could you walk us through the evolution of that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. And first of all, I feel like I'd be remiss to not note that there's a Pop-Tart trophy on the stage. There was a duck yesterday. There were puppies this morning. I was telling our team, I think we need to come up with a good CarMax shtick. Since we're in Chicago, I could do the Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I don't think I'm allowed to do that, but I don't think the ROI on that would be terribly positive.
It's a little asterisk.
So, yeah, little asterisk. So anyway, thank you so much for having us here. We're excited to be a part of this, and I've enjoyed all the presentations that we've seen so far as well, too.
Terrific.
So yeah, our journey with sports, CarMax is a 30-year-old brand, as you said, maybe a couple years beyond that at this point. And we've really been on a journey from a local, starting out in local markets with local stores and turning into a national brand, and we're on our path to becoming more of an iconic brand. And so sports have been a big part of our strategy as we've gone through that journey, starting in probably like the early 2000s as we were entering some of our like bigger markets like in LA. It became really thought of as like an alternative to media in that moment. So it was a way to enter a market where we only maybe had a couple stores. We weren't going to sell enough cars to afford a big broadcast plan at that moment. And so our first relationship was with the LA Clippers actually back in that time period as we opened the LA market. And over the next years that followed, sports was more of a local play for us. So we began, when we would open up a Boston or a Portland or a San Francisco, we would lean into sports partnerships as a means to kind of connect with the community to get a little bit more of an outsized presence that we might otherwise get. And so that's been a part of what we've been doing for a long time. Largely in those days, it was in the, more of the NFL. I think we've actually had NFL, NBA, and baseball was all a part of that. As we were doing that, and again, in these like bigger, larger markets that we had. But it was about 2020, maybe a little before that, that our journey really expanded. So that was the time period where, you guys all know CarMax as the store that has lots of cars and no haggle prices, and hopefully you know a little bit more than that. But that's sort of what our reputation was, who we were, where we grew up, kind of transforming the industry from this terrible thing that you hate doing to a place where you could do it with integrity and respect. But in that moment, we were also advancing all of the things that we could do digitally, right? So omnichannel retail, everybody who's a retailer, that's a huge part of what you have to be prepared for. And so we were building capabilities to fully sell cars online, and probably more importantly, allow customers to do any part of the transaction they might want online or in store, and that's the beauty of omnichannel, right? Particularly in a big purchase like a car.
Sure.
You may want to get pre-qualified at home, you might want to get the value of your trade at home, but you still want to come and touch and feel, maybe get it delivered to your house, all of that. So we were under a journey where we were transforming all of that. It all came to be realized kind of in the 2019, 2020 timeframe. And so as marketers, we were looking for a way to kind of reestablish, reintroduce who CarMax was, make sure we were kind of changing perceptions away from the old version of who we were. And we went to the NBA. So we looked at that as, it was kind of perfect timing. So the TNT tip-off show, somebody else was sponsoring at the time. It was coming up for sale. And we looked at that as a really interesting kind of marquee thing. And then we looked at the league as well, too, as a place that is, of all of the different sports properties, most culturally connected, most diverse, younger consumer, and thought it would be a great thing to align our brand with to kind of modernize your impression of who CarMax was.
For sure.
So it really started in that. I think it was 2020 that we'd signed the league deal and the TNT tip-off presenting sponsor deal. And as we signed that deal, the W was a part of it. So, it made sense. That was kind of for a different purpose. The league was growing. Viewership was growing quite a bit even back then. Nothing like the hockey stick that's happened since.
Right.
And so we put them both side by side and did the deal with both. It just felt like the right thing to do. And so we did that, and as we began to engage in that partnership and how to extend those different properties, creating content became a big part of that, and so we were using athletes to initially smaller, not as prominent athletes, and doing a lot of social content.
More budget friendly, I would.
Yeah, more budget friendly as we dipped our toe into some of this. But pretty soon, and I'll give props to our team at Wasserman, who supports us in sports and has been a part of this journey with us and the strategies behind all of it. We began because we had such a big broadcast presence in the games, doing custom content with bigger athletes. So we pitched a campaign called Call Your Shot. We included Steph Curry as we were looking for athletes to be the actors in the ads, the partners. Of course, as we were looking at that slate of people, we included women in that as well too. So in some of the early iterations, Steph and Sue Bird were kind of the main folks that we were using. And we had this moment where there was a spot called Pinch Me, where played out on the lot, and there was a sales consultant talking to Steph Curry and I can't believe today I got to sell a car to somebody with, I'll get the numbers wrong, but three championships, and he corrects him and says, no, it's actually 2. And then the consultant says, no, I sold a car to Sue Bird earlier today, and she waves. In that spot, we loved the script, and that was great, didn't think a whole lot of it, that felt great. But it sparked fire. So we got a ton of attention for that spot. It went crazy in social media. And it really sparked this dialogue that I guess we maybe a little naively didn't know it would be quite so big, around why women weren't being more prominently featured. Why was the discrepancy there between viewership of these properties? And so we were oh, this is really interesting. So we leaned in. We leaned into the women's side of things quite a bit. The next iteration of that campaign, Candace Parker joined the casting of that, and then most recently we've dropped the men and have had an all-female cast as we've done more with that. And so it really kind of sparked something with the women's side. Also with that campaign, I should mention, we were the very first company to put the lockup logo at the end with the W and the NBA side by side. Now I would dare you to find an ad where people don't do that, but we take a lot of pride that we were the first ones to do it. And so we've been on this journey now, more so on the women's side here in the last couple years. So the NBA partnership is still alive and well. We still have 4 teams that we support in local markets with the NBA. Yeah. But on the women's side, we've expanded things for sure. We added the Changemakers partnership to kind of elevate the presence.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can expand on that a bit. What Changemakers is a kind of elevated program of 6 sponsors within the league that are partnering together to both help kind of the visibility of the league invested in the success of the league itself, and then also the contributions that it's making into the community. And so we're super proud to be a part of that. We've done a lot of different programming with them over the years. It's been a really special part of the partnership, so it's been great. And at that time too, we added the NWSL, so the Women's Soccer League. So we were a partner with that league as well, 2 teams within the league. We are the presenting sponsor of the Shield, which is for the winner of the end of season record. And so we increased the player pool for that. We're sponsor of that. And so it's been a really great ride and great journey as we've expanded all this stuff. And I'd be remiss to say, NBA is at a turning point here a bit too. So the rights deals have changed. I was told I'm not allowed to say exactly what we're doing next there, but there's more to come there because of this journey more broadly of kind of modernizing who we are, and we still see the NBA as a huge partner for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's terrific. I mean, you guys kind of laid the groundwork early and then saw it through and evolved along with it, which is terrific and great that you were kind of in there from the start. So that's wonderful. When it comes to CarMax, I read something that you had posted on LinkedIn once about their feel-good mission, and how, could you just tell us a little bit more about that, and then how does that align kind of with your relationships within the sports industry? Yeah.
So our purpose at CarMax is to drive integrity with honesty and transparency in every interaction. That's been our purpose from day one. Kind of alluded to it before that, this industry is one that is not held in high regard, right? And so we were, the original disruptor, bringing a actually nice, respectful experience.
I think people get stressed out about it, right? They find it a stressful experience.
Yeah, it's stressful, and it is true. The perception that you're getting screwed at every turn is absolutely true. Everywhere but CarMax.
Obviously.
It's absolutely true. Still today, just as it was 30 years ago when we founded the company, And so that really guides us in everything we do. We're very values-oriented and centric. And so it guides what we do for our customers, for our associates, for our communities, and with our partners. So it's been a big part of Changemakers. It's, helped us to kind of feel good. It also, that story is a hard one to tell. So I've been with the brand for like a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's, it's elusive. So I think, really convincing people that there can be a car, we don't call ourselves a dealership, but a car retailer who will actually treat you well. Like, that's not something as a marketer, it's our constant comms challenge. I can't say that and have anybody actually believe that. So we do it by proving it.
Yeah.
We prove it, and you come into the store and you work with us, and you absolutely feel
you come out on the other side.
We prove it with no haggle pricing. We prove it with big warranties at the end of the 10-day money-back guarantee, 90-day warranty, fix anything. Like, those types of things help to prove it. But still, it's been a bit elusive to like really convince the person who hasn't come and interacted with us to that.
I mean, you're undoing, decades and decades of perception and what
yeah.
people's experience has been so far.
That's right. And so that is a part of, the journey with women's sports that has been, it's a way that we kind of show it, right? Behaving in the world in a way that we are supporting that as much as we're supporting the men, now maybe more so than we're supporting the men even too.
Yeah.
It's really kind of set it for us without us having to say it. And I think that's been really special and part of the strategy with it all along.
Yeah, it makes sense. You just touched on the fact you've been with CarMax a long time, 22 years, I think it was, right? So how does kind of being there from the beginning and kind of moving your way through the organization influence your role now and when you're looking at strategy, because you have such a long tenured time with them?
And I definitely realize that's a little odd for a CMO, right? You don't see a lot of us who have kind of stayed with a company for a long period of time. And when I joined in 2003, this was my first job pretty much. And I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was just looking to get at any company that I could like weasel around and figure things out. And what I found there was, this mission that's really easy to get behind and feel great about. And also just this amazing time period of growth. So I think at that time we were about 30 stores. And to get to be a part of the journey, taking us from a, small local brand, kind of a startup in ways it felt back then, into a national brand, and now on our way to be an iconic brand. It's been such a privilege to get to do that. And it's also, I think there's pros to being a CMO who's been at a company for a long time, but there's watch outs too. I think on the pro side, I've gotten to grow up with this business, so I know it intimately well, how we make money, how we operate. I've got relationships deep and wide across the organization, and I do think that helps me to be able to lead our team to create strategies that are actually going to drive growth and to sell that into the organization. I think there's tons of benefits that has afforded.
Yeah.
I think the watch out, of course, is the bias and the blinders that come from only thinking about this one brand for such
and the way
a long
that it's
time.
been done.
Yeah. And so I think we just have to be careful to make sure that, luckily through that time, we've grown a lot too. So the little marketing team I was a part of in the early days is, I don't know, like 30 times bigger today.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of new talent coming in along the way, and making sure that as those people join, that they know we want ideas. We want them to tell us, why are you doing that, dummy? Like, challenge things, right? And then also our agencies are and our partners are an important part of that. I mentioned Wasserman, but on the media and creative side as well too. Like, we count on them to help keep us fresh, to bring fresh ideas, to challenge us along the way, and I think that's helped a lot.
That's great. When it comes to the sports industry, what surprised you the most working with them versus kind of other partners that you guys have?
I think it's maybe surprise is a big word, but just like how fast it moves. Like, it's at the speed of culture, which is what we want, right? Like, it's why we're partnering in sports, is to be connected better to culture and the things that consumers care a lot about. But the pace of that, it's a lot. So we've had to make adjustments internally to make sure that we're keeping up. Again, our agency partners help with that quite a bit as well too. A great example of that is, in our most recent round of spots where we featured the all WNBA cast. Asia Wilson was featured in one of them, where we were highlighting the fact that she's been a 3-time WNBA MVP. Our team was super sharp to recognize, by the time this is still airing, she may win a 4th. Like, she's
Sure.
She's really awesome. It's a good chance she might win a fourth. So like we filmed it that way. We filmed both versions of it, and when that happened, we were able to turn it around and have it out there. We got some good earned media for that, and of course, it's just the right thing to do as well too. So yeah, I think it's just like the pace of it all. You know, even on the local level, like the teams make the playoffs, we got to adjust. Like there's just so much that we've got to be moving quickly and nimbly, listening, all that.
You have any athletes that are actually CarMax customers? You saw some cars?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Just curious more than
like I'm not sure. I hope so.
Maybe you're not a
I know we, you know, when it comes to athletes and celebrities, like people that have a lot of means, they might tend to buy a newer car than a used car. But on the appraisal side, but we get lots. Our LA stores are full of celebs coming and selling cars.
Well, that's great.
Which is exciting.
You said you started at 30. How many stores are you guys up to now?
Over 250.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You guys have activated some events and you know, in the sports world. If you had kind of the next either team or league or sporting event that you know you have your eye on, you'd say, I would love to partner with them.
Yeah.
Who would it be?
Well, in the hallway, I've met a lot of people.
Oh, good.
A lot of people, when you wear the
Maybe
speaker
reach out.
badge, like people come up.
Yeah.
So I've met a lot of people here at this event. I think there's, you know, the women that were on stage with the new leagues and the women's
Yeah.
like it's so interesting, it's so cool. And I think that's always the challenge with sports is there's so many things you could do that the prioritization of that is like it's daunting. I want to do everything, but we all have limited budgets, right? So I think our focus right now is really to double down on the current leagues and teams that we partner with, and there's so much exciting things in that. So I think in the obviously with the NWSL and in the WNBA, there's a lot of expansion happening. So we are a founding partner of the Golden State Valkyries, which is super exciting.
Amazing! What an exciting start they've had.
Oh my gosh,
what a
the
great time to be
attendance
part of
has
that.
been tremendous. And then also Angel City is a new partner for us this current season. So that's exciting. Also coming up with the leagues, there's kind of two big marquee events we're still kind of new in the forming of what to do with them. So one is the WNBA All-Star. We activated there last year for the first time. And I think it was our first activation of that kind of big grand scale ever that we have done. We learned a ton in that process, and so we're planning to do that
back
again
next
this
month?
year. Yep,
Good.
Indianapolis.
We'll be there.
Come say hi. And so which is so fun. I mean, the stuff the team's working on that is like so exciting and fun. And then the other is the NWSL Skills Challenge. So if you heard Brandy on stage yesterday, that's an event that, you know, with the NWSL particularly as a newer league than the W or certainly the NBA, we've really been able to kind of co-create programming with them. That's been super interesting and super fun.
That harkens back to the panel yesterday with
That's
all
right,
the newer
that's
leagues.
right.
That really the opportunity to from the start build it together.
That's right. And so this idea of a skills challenge to pair with their championship weekend to try to help them make that moment a bigger event in the local market that it's in. With more attendance, we've activated on spot there, but the skills challenge as part of their negotiation of their media rights, we were able to ride alongside on that and help get the momentum to get it aired on CBS.
Oh, amazing.
And it aired so the championship I think was Saturday night. It aired Sunday after NFL programming and was the highest rated NWSL event, higher than the championship the night before, which I kind of feel bad about. The championship should have been higher. So I don't know if it's a goal that we want ours to be bigger than that. I think we want for the league, we want the championship to be bigger. But it was awesome that the event did so well, and so that gives a lot of momentum to make it even better, more professional, cooler. Like there's so many things that can be better about it. So we're partnering with them for this round of it, which I think will be in October, to make it even bigger and better. So I think those couple things in the hopper there, and then as I mentioned on the NBA side, we have a new campaign for both W and NBA that'll be coming out this fall. And then also, as I said, with the media rights changes that have happened there, the TNT tip-off is no longer. And so we've been taking that pool of money and exploring what other options are available for us. And so we have landed on one that we're super excited about and should be announced soon.
Oh, excellent. Well, I hope you think about us when you're ready to announce that.
Please. Please reach out.
Well, we are somehow
Oh, yeah.
at the very end of our time. So I wanted to thank you. This has been terrific. Like I said, CarMax is doing some really great things in the sports space, and it's been interesting to hear how you guys kind of got in early on and watch it develop, and exciting to see what happens next.
That's great. Thank you so much for including us.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, ladies.